I am the Queen of Zandalar, and a queen kneels to no one.
They should use their minds to save the world, instead of devising ways to tear it apart.
No. Not while the Black Moon still cries out for vengeance. Not until the Horde has answered for its treachery.
The war is serving its purpose. Stay focused on the endgame. You know what is to come.
The two essential weapons of an adventurer. A bottle of good gin and a jar of tasty jam. This is Girls Gone WoW!
Hello, you're listening to Girls Gone WoW, show 679, recorded on Sunday,
blimey.
15th March 2026. I'm your host, EJ, and with me I have my lovely co-host, Raven. How are you doing, lovely?
I'm all right. I'm all right. It's been a very busy week, and I've got a very busy week coming up, and I'm not sure how it's March. And
mid-March.
Nearly April. Yeah, not sure how any of that happened. A bit confused, a bit tired. Yeah. Exciting. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a bit of a the weather's gone a bit weird here, and I think
Yeah,
that's
it
just
has.
giving me some headaches and stuff. But yeah, apart from that, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good.
Yes, like you said, equally confused that it's sort of mid-March already.
I just don't understand. I no longer understand how time works.
I know.
February didn't really. It sort of went on for a long time, but it also vanished really quickly. March is just like literally blink and you miss it. I don't know what's going on with March. And then I effectively lose a week next week because of all this travelling I've got to do.
Yes. I was thinking about this while I was driving yesterday, and I think last year was because we had like lots of big events happening last year.
Oh, yeah,
I think that's how I split the year up. I was like, okay, this thing's happening, and then I've got to deal with this thing, and then this other thing's happening, and so on. Like they were all good fun events, but like there were big things that were happening. And there's nothing big in the calendar for this year, and I think that's just confused my brain because I'm like, but what's the next thing? And it's like, well, sort of, yeah. So I think that's I'm just confused. I think at the moment. Obviously, the big thing that's happened is we've had a new expansion. Yay!
Yes. The big thing's happened is we've had a new expansion, and I have been struggling to find any time to play, which is very annoying. We'll talk about that in a minute.
But we're definitely going to hear about that a bit later. But we're going to start with our interesting news of the week, which there is. There's lots of stuff that's quite interesting, but I've just picked the things that I think are going to be most interesting to people here and to Raven and myself. So just a reminder that this week Reset will be when Midnight Season 1 starts. Now, obviously last week we spoke all about all the things that are coming in the various weeks. So the obvious thing is we're going to get the first 2 iterations of the various raids that are coming, delves, we can level our delves up, but the thing that's probably going to interest a lot of people on the top of what we spoke about last week is that class tuning is going to happen this week. Lots and lots of class tuning. Most specs are seeing changes. There were far too many changes for me to list, so I'm going to put the Wowhead article with the full list into our show notes. In fact, I think I already did that earlier. I think I was preemptively on the ball with this. Weirdly, because I did have a look through it, frost mages don't seem to be having any changes, and I was like, oh, I mean, which is fine because I actually think frost mages are quite all right at the moment. Shadow priests, which are struggling right now, are seeing basically a 10% damage increase across the board, so that's going to be helpful. They're just a bit like paper mache right now, which is a bit unnerving.
Yeah, it seems like a weird, like, we did the class changes ages ago, and now we've not done any tuning for ages, and now we're going to do the tuning, at the same time as the season starts and everybody wants to do proper stuff. It seems a little bit weird to me. I think they maybe should have done the class tuning last week so that everybody had a chance to see what the tuning did so that they could be ready for season 1. But no.
Yeah, I'm like the scheduling, the way that Blizzard schedules stuff is, I think, some sort of mystery. I think it involves some sort of like runes and some sort of secret
some kind of
ceremony
divination.
And,
yeah,
maybe the secret, like maybe they could get the Discord WoW secret Discord.
Oh, the secret
they could get
finders,
them involved to try and like divinate the perfect time or something. So hey, if you like playing your class, have a look, because it looked like pretty much everybody was getting some tuning. The only one I obviously saw, because I was interested in it, I couldn't see anything for frost mages. So yeah, have a look.
Nadriel says Zali is still bitter about Shadow Priest carrying her around for all that time.
Oh well,
yeah,
maybe
there we go.
that's it. But,
This is
so squishy.
not going to be a Shadow Priest expansion. In housing decor news, Void Light Marl prices have been greatly reduced, with many items reduced by 80% and the most expensive ones reduced by as much as 93%. There you go. If you'd like some of these items, they'll be cheaper.
Yeah. Oh, the prices on them were ridiculous. What I cannot find an answer to currently, and I have tried various sources, is whether or not people who bought them at the old price are going to get their Marl back.
Which they by rights absolutely should do.
Yeah. I mean, I held off buying anything because I'm like, they've got to drop these prices. They're ridiculous. So yeah, if I see any news, I will stick it on the Discord. But I couldn't find anything like saying yes or no.
Oh, that's annoying.
Now this one, yay! This is good news, except slightly frustrating news for me personally. Steady Flight no longer needs to be unlocked via the Pathfinder achievement.
It's so good. It's so good. I logged in on Thursday and I was like, press the button, I can hover. Thank goodness.
Lovely.
Relax.
This is very, very, very good news. Don't get me wrong. So, in both Midnight and the War Within content, the unlock has been removed via a hotfix, brackets, 2 hours after somebody unlocked this on her North American character.
Sorry.
Having absolutely flogged herself to level that thing to get the unlock done. Thanks, Blizzard. Thanks. I was really pleased about it. Thank you.
I don't understand. I just don't understand Blizzard. I don't understand Blizzard. I just don't get it.
No. So you can now choose whatever mode of flying you like.
Hooray!
Blizzard said, questing through Azeroth has always had a complicated relationship with flying. There are countless cases where the ability to fly trivializes a challenge or ruins the pacing of an experience. Different expansions have handled rule sets differently, but we generally sought compromise in the form of: your first time through the game, your flight capabilities are limited, and then after you've explored most of the world, your flight capability is less limited. They then went on to say that with the changes to skyriding, with the removal of vigour and the move to charges instead, the distinction between skyriding and steady flight has diminished greatly, so that it no longer really makes sense to distinguish between skyriding and steady flight while levelling.
Sorry, they forced us into skywriding because steady flight was too easy.
Yes, because with so the argument was, the bit I cut out because it was a very long article, was like, okay, if you've got steady flying, you can fly over an objective, hover, sit there until like everything clears out a little bit, dive down, kill the one thing you need to, and fly out.
Yes, you
which
can.
They don't want you to do, because that's not the fun way of first experiencing new content.
Well, then they need to go back to not having flying in... I was fine. I was absolutely fine with not having flying unlocked until after the end. You got to the end of the main campaign, you did your Pathfinder, and that unlocked flying however you wanted to do it. that if
I'm
that's
with you.
what they want, then that's what they have to do. And I know it annoys a lot of people to be ground based, but that's fine. Skywriding, okay, you get that experience of landing in a pack of mobs and having your ass handed to you. You also get the horrible experience of flying around and not being able to land on anything, or like shooting past things and not being able to pick things up at all. No. This doesn't do that.
The other thing that's quite funny is that I've seen a lot of content creators talking about how they made the decision to do all of their first playthrough like running on ground mounts from place to place.
Yes, I saw Tally talking about this.
Great. You get to like Taliesin was one of them, but I've seen like several people talk about this and like several like Reddit posts and things like that, and people are like, it's a great way to like really get the feel for the land. But like what I found really funny was like all the time that Blizzard used to make us do that, everybody was furious that they couldn't fly everywhere and they were grounded, and now like this is literally a perfect example of like it doesn't matter what they do, everyone's going to be up in arms about it. It's hilarious. I see. I never used to mind. I'm now trying to think, would you find some episode of this podcast where I've complained about it? Probably. We've been doing this for a long time, but I never used to mind being grounded until we finished the end of the story. I quite often... EJ's looking very roboty. Either that or she's pulling a very funny face. I don't mind... I quite often do go into flight form, but I sort of skim along the ground. But that's just because, to be honest, I have a button I click, and if I'm moving, if I'm in a zone where it can fly, it just instinct pops me into Raven form. So it's not really. If it picked a ground mount, it would be fine, but it doesn't do that. It just pops me into Raven form. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like being forced to skyride. Let's not force me to skyride. Let's not force anyone to skyride. I just think it's the worst of all possible options. Especially because it was actually an accessibility issue, because there were people who cannot skyride because it gives them like oral problems and like motion sickness and things like that. So, there was a real accessibility reason for not doing it. So I'm pleased that we've ended up in a sensible place. I think the reasoning behind it, I think, was... it pull a when I read it, and that's why I condensed it down, because I thought if I'd read the whole thing, then your eyes might have rolled so far back in your head that I might have had to take you to more fields or something. So good news all round, basically, even if it was a little bit frustrating for this person in particular.
Yes.
So, our topic of the week. So, you've hit level 90. What are all these weekly things I've got to do now? This is a little TLDR of like, what the fuck are all these things that Blizzard want me to do now? And I asked you to sort of tell us about if you'd been taking part in any of the events and what you thought about them.
Just to clarify, when we say when you've hit 90, you actually have to finish the main campaign before most of these unlock.
Yeah, you do have to finish the campaign.
So we don't mean when you've hit level 90, we mean when you've hit the campaign, because none of these things are open for me at the moment, because I haven't finished the campaign.
Okay, alright. Bad title from EJ. No biscuits for EJ.
It's okay, because it's just a bit confusing. I mean, I don't think anything opens when you hit 90 automatically. I think everything is when you get to the end of the story quest.
Anything open? Let me just think, because I've just had a character just go through that. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure nothing... you have to finish the
so,
campaign on at least one character. So if you haven't finished the campaign on any character, just turning 90 in itself is a complete non-event. I mean, you get an achievement, obviously, but nothing.
You get ding and you get your last talent point. Hooray.
Because you know how much I like a talent point.
You got that new little group of talents at the bottom of the tree to fill in.
Yeah.
To get you your new exciting thing.
Yeah. That was the thing that happened. I was very excited about it.
Okay, so.
But once you get to the end
now
of the
you've hit
campaign.
All right, now you've hit 90 and finished the campaign. What are all these weekly things? So this is soon to be the position that you will be in, then, Raven.
Well, we'll talk about soon. We'll talk about soon when we get to the week in WoW.
Okay, so first of all, I've done you a TLDR in case you're like, oh my god, there's so many things. So there are weekly world events.
Okay.
Each one of which will grant 1,000 rep with the specific renown faction. And there's a weekly cash that comes in at about 4,000 gold, 100 coffer key shards. Those are the things you need to make bountiful
delves, yeah.
100 void light marl and 20 veteran dawn crests. In addition, there are the usual option of weekly quests, weekly dungeons for bonus rep, and the new prey system, which you unlock through a short quest chain. You pick up a contract and head into the zone you have selected and hunt down your prey, but they could ambush you when you least expect it. There are several difficulties to the system, and we're going to talk about prey as its own separate thing in a future week. Finally, with season 1 starting, we're going to see the world bosses turning up again. So they'll come up on a rotation, one world boss each week, as previously seen.
And there's one per zone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Abundance has a location in each of the 4 zones, and completing the event rewards an overflowing abundance satchel, which gives you 1,000 rep with the Amani. You talk to the Dundun, the lower of abundance, to start the event, and then you have 3 minutes to loot as much as you possibly can and deposit altars around the cave. The more you donate, the faster you will move. The amount of treasure you can carry increases. A treasure not deposited before you've reported out of the cave is lost. No. Abundant Harvest will be active in one of the caves. This rotates every 8 hours, and you can use the Shard of Dunduns to empower the cave, which gives you an unalloyed abundance as an extra reward when completing. You can use this to purchase vendor rewards, including pets. I nearly said pants.
Pants. You might be able to get pants.
Pets and mounts, or pants, as we're calling them. Housing decor, transmog, and profession assets.
The Legends of the Haranaya rewards an avid learner's supply pack and 1,000 rep with the Harati and a piece of housing decor. For this event, you choose an ancient relic of the Harati and complete a scenario that tells its story. It's warbound wide, so only one relic each week can be chosen, but all your warbounds can do the event. Okay,
this is already sounding like quite a lot of things. Saltheral Soiree happens in the Eversong Woods and is similar to an Ember Court party from Shadowlands. You've got lots of people who are attending in 4 sub-factions. Attending the soiree in sub-factions: Blood Knights, Fast Riders, Magisters, Shades of the Row. And each week you choose which faction you're going to support and you do quests for them. Which raises your reputation, but can decrease your decrease your reputation with the other sub-factions. There's weekly quests, fortify the rune stones and favour of the court, and a special currency is rewarded, because we love a special currency. It's called Brimming Arcana, and you can buy transmog and decor crafting recipes, and you also get rep. You just get party, basically. Organise a party. You can organise a party.
Yeah, I suddenly realised when I was doing it, I'm like, hold on, I feel like I've done this before. And then when I was writing the notes,
like
I'm like, oh yeah, it's the Ember Court.
It's a Venthyr party, yeah.
Okay, this is important knowledge from Bash. The Magisters have a kitten pet. That's the most important knowledge.
So there we go, most important knowledge, yeah. Magisters first for their kitten pet.
weirdly, I had picked the Magisters. They're the ones I've been working on, so I'm very pleased.
Oh, there
about
you
this
go.
fact. Thank
So
you.
you subconsciously
Hey.
knew that they were going to be
I
the
did.
people. If anybody was going to have a kitten pet, it was going to be the Magisters.
Gonna be the Magisters, yeah. Finally, Stormarian Assault is the world event in Voidstorm and is a tower defense style event where you
No.
help the Singularity faction defend the Stormarian citadel from the void forces of the Devouring Host. The event occurs every 30 minutes and takes place over several phases, which last about 15 minutes in total. You have 5 minutes of setting up defences, followed by 3 phases of waves of invaders you need to kill as they try to rush towards the Singularity Anchor, a terminal in the centre of the area which has 100 health, which is not a lot.
No.
Which is being healed slowly by the NPCs, but not fast enough to end the assault without our help. There's a minute ceasefire between each phase, and so you can mop up any stragglers and put up some more defences. The victorious Stormarian Pinnacle chest has a chance to drop a pet or a mount, as well as the usual chest contents. None of the guides I read told me, but I'm guessing that it's going to give you 1,000 rep for the Singularity because everybody else gave you 1,000 rep.
Yeah, that seems likely. It doesn't sound tremendously exciting, but fine. Okay.
So yes. So I have partaken in the events.
Okay. So you've got one world event in each, which could be in any of the
Yes.
4. No, each zone has its own world event.
Yes.
So there's a weekly
Yeah, so
event
the
in
abundance
each
is
zone.
the weird. So the abundance is the weird one because there is a location in each of the 4 zones where the abundance can happen.
Right.
But it doesn't matter where the abundance happens. The rep is always for the Harati.
For the Armani.
Well, they're called the Harati, but yes.
No, for abundance it says the Armani. Is that not the trolls?
The Armani. No, that's me. That's me.
Okay.
That's absolutely me. Sorry.
The
No, you're right.
Harati is the legends of Haranir.
Yes, the Harati is the Haranirs. Yes.
Okay,
No, you're
so
right.
the Eversong people have a party you can organise. The Haranir people
Yes.
have a legend you can go do. The Armani
Yes.
have an abundance event you can do.
Yes.
And then there's an event in every faction, and then there's a world boss in every faction, and there's world
Yes.
quests, and also you can hunt things down.
Yes.
And the Stormarian
And
Assault is in the Void Storm.
Is the Void Storm. Yes.
Yeah, okay, so, right, fine. I mean, it sounds quite busy.
You know what? It sounds okay because we've just read all of that. It sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
You can basically get all of that done in one evening.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good because I only have like in a
Once
general scheme of things, I have one evening when I'm not doing stuff with other people, so that's convenient.
Yeah, no. Once you know where they are and how they work, it does sound more complicated than it is.
Okay.
So, this is why this week in particular, I was like, right, I'm going to spend one evening. I'm going to see how much of this I can crack out in one evening, and I got it all done in a few hours. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay. Well, like if I could only log in once a week, I could actually get all of this done.
Okay.
Which was like very pleasing.
So you've got like an event and a world boss and some world quests in every single zone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the abundance, you just like you can see on the map where the abundances are, and if you look at the map, you can find out which one's empowered. And actually, what some people are doing is they are making LFG groups for the abundance. So people are getting together in big raid groups. So big raid groups are going down and just absolutely
okay.
obliterating the caves.
That won't last long.
It has been nerfed a little bit because people are doing this, and so people are like, it's not as good as it was, but people are still sort of ticking that over quite nicely. That people seem to be people either really enjoy the abundance with the fact it's 3 minutes and you're in and out, or they don't like having fun for 3 minutes. That seems to be the two the two versions of the discussion that I have seen.
Okay.
I'm quite happy to do anything for a cheeky little lower.
Yeah.
The lower, he's very cute, and he's like, here, come in. And so when you go into the cave has mobs in it that you kill, and they drop these little orbs, and as you walk over the orb, you pick it up. If the mobs are skinnable, whether or not you're a skinner, you can skin them, and that creates more abundance treasure. There's nodes of ore. Whether or not you're a miner, you can mine them, and that'll produce abundance. So basically, you can just like hoover everything up. And what I tend to do is I tend to find a spot near where an altar is, and just keep going over and over, because everything regenerates quite quickly.
Okay.
So is that the most efficient way? I don't know, but I feel like when I've done my 3 minutes, I'm like, okay, well, I've done that. Tick.
Okay, so the abundance is super quick.
Quick, 3 minutes.
Your Legend of Haranir sounds like a fairly short scenario.
Yep. So there's in one of the little huts, there's a chap who's got these pedestals behind him that have got different
and he's got
types
different like weapons and things on them.
Yeah, so he's got like a staff, and he's got a bowl, and there's I don't know what the other ones are. So you pick one.
He's up in the top left-hand corner, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Whatever that's called, top left-hand corner. So
everything
you pick one of those.
The problem with navigating Harandar is that everything has very similar sounding names, so I don't know where anything is. But he's in the top left-hand corner. He's the top left-hand corner guy. Yeah.
Yes. And so then he's like, oh, you're going to pursue the Staff of Jam. And you're like, yes, I would like to find out about the Staff of Jam, please. And he says, right. So he sends you to a different part of the map.
Okay.
And you go, and you have to click one of those stones, and it puts you into a little scenario. And it takes about 10 minutes, maybe. And sometimes you've got a like extra buff that helps you kill all the things around you. And sometimes you're collecting stuff. And then eventually there'll be some sort of big boss that you'll murder. And all the while he's telling you the story behind the thing. And then you get to the end, and he's like, there, you now know about the thing. And then at the end of that, you get a choice of a piece of housing decor related to the legend.
Nice.
So I think I did one, and I had a choice between 3 different tapestries, and I picked a tapestry.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, again, like probably 15 minutes with all your travel time. Not a very long event.
Okay, so 5 minutes abundance, 15 minutes Haranir. Yes. How long does it take to organise a party? How in depth is party organisation?
I don't think the party takes very long. So you have to, okay. So you go and see, what's his name? The man who's holding the party. And he's like, please go and hold a party. And then you have to, and he gives you...
And you're like...
some tokens.
I've got you, sir. I was a champion Venthyr. I'm very good at parties.
Yes.
Thanks very much.
But you have to do a few little tidy up jobs. So there's like a chair that's fallen down, and you have to pick the chair up. And there's a disgruntled guest, and you have to find a glass and give them a glass. And there's like there's a little bit of tidying up party work you have to do. And then he gives you 3 coins, and you can go and give those to any of what they're called interlopers. So these are representatives of the 4 sub-factions, and you get 3 coins, so you could do quests for 3 of them.
Okay.
And you do these quests, and they will... Oh, it's all currency, so stay with me. So you do these quests, and once you've done these quests, they will give you enough little arcana, because you need 100 arcana to empower a runestone, and runestones are dotted about over Eversong. So you go and empower the runestone, and then it starts a little 5-minute event where you get little waves of mobs, and you kill all the little mobs. And once you've killed enough little mobs, a big mob turns up, and you murder the big mob.
Oh,
so that probably takes another 15-20 minutes.
Okay, I think there were some people doing that when I was standing next to a runestone the other day.
Yes, and there's like various different runes. I think there's 5 different rune stones, and sometimes you'll be flying over them, and somebody's doing an event, and it'll do that thing that the things in Dragonflight, the hunts. You used to fly over the hunt, and you'd suddenly be midway through a hunt, and you'd be like, oh, hello, what am I doing? Oh, all right.
Yes, I keep getting all of that stuff sort of happening to me, and then the game's like, oh no, hang on, you're not oh no. No, ignore me.
Forget
I wasn't.
about it.
Yeah, you're not big enough to do this yet. You haven't finished the main
Yeah.
story, so just go away.
Yeah. Yes, others can help. So one person doesn't have to get 100 latent arcana. Other people can help empower the runestone.
Okay.
But actually, with all the questing you've done beforehand, you've probably got at least 75 on you anyway.
Okay.
There's also lots of little mysterious tomes littered about in the world that you can pick up, and they award you 1 or 2 arcana in your bag.
Right. Okay. So this is similar to there was an event in Dragonflight in the Night Elf Zone. So there was the Blooming Ancient that you had to follow around, but you had these seeds that you could empower a seed. You had to give it and turn it into a big seed, and then a boss came out of the seed, and you fought this is that thing.
Did you get a boss out of those seeds?
Yeah, you had to kill something. You had to.
I think.
Or you had to empower the seeds. There was a lot of empowering the seeds went on, but this is a sort of empowering.
Yeah, it's like the
seeds sort of
empowering
thing.
of the seeds, but
Right.
I don't think a boss ever turned up. Now, I have been able to solo the boss, but it is flagged as a needs 5 players, so
Right,
I think
okay.
it just depends on what sort of thing you're playing. It is a big mob. It's got as much as one of the big sort of elites that are around at the moment. So it's probably at least, for most players, it's probably at least a 2-player job.
Okay.
But there's usually somebody flying around who's like, oh, you're doing the thing, and you don't have to group up. Just
Okay.
anybody who's there
Yeah.
can participate. So yeah, probably depending on how much work you have to do with the little side questing, maybe 15-20 minutes on that one.
Okay.
And then you've got the assault. Yeah, okay. So this is the one that I just find a bit frustrating. So it happens every 30 minutes. So it's not like you'll ever have to wait a long time until one of these events is happening. And you fly over there, and there's a couple of NPCs that offer you some little quests to sort of teach you how to set the defenses up and stuff. And it is very simple, but it is very dependent on how many people are there. This is the
Okay.
one where if there's only a couple of you there, you're going to get overwhelmed by the amount of mobs there are.
Right.
Because there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 egress points for that
okay.
you put up defenses. So in the first round, you've got 2 spots that you can put defenses up, and then after the next wave, you get another amount of defenses you can put up, and just before the last wave, you can put defenses around the middle thing that you're protecting. And there's different defenses. There's a barrier, and there's some sort of AoE zappy thing, and there's something that does more direct zappy thing. And I think there's a 4th option that can put up some NPCs that actually help you with the defense.
Right. Okay.
But so it as an event, it doesn't last very long. Again, it's about 15-20 minutes. But if there's only a couple of you there, it's very easy to get overwhelmed and for it to fail. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I would always either go into the LFG and find somebody who's started a raid group to do it, or fly over there, see if there's some people. See if there's enough
some people
about.
around. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the only one that I find particularly a bit meh. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't sound like the most engaging thing.
No. I mean, it's fine. And it does only take 15-20 minutes. It's not like
I'm not mad keen on tower defense type stuff at the best of times.
No. And actually, sometimes when the quest that you get, the weekly quest, where they give you 4 options and you have to pick one of the things to do. So when my character today that was 90 went and got one of those options was to do the assault. And I'm like,
okay.
Oh well, I have to do the assault
super,
anyway.
Yeah, super quick if you only have to do it once.
Yeah, so lots of the time I found, in fact, earlier in the week, a different character that had lined up something else. Oh, I think the abundance was one of the options she was given. So I was like, oh, well, this is fine. Great. So sometimes you can get a good twofer if you check with the people who've got the weekly quests for you.
Nice.
So yeah, so actually it is possible to bang this out in an evening and get all of your renown for for all of your factions.
Okay.
Which is nice.
And we've still got 2 weekly profession quests. Well, you'll still have a
Yes.
weekly profession quest for each of your professions,
Yes.
which you might have 2 of. So that's good. Are there any other secret weeklies lying around?
No, I think that's now everything. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, once the season starts, people are
Yeah,
going
there'll
to
be
want
a
to do
delving
things
quest
like
and
do their the amount of delves that they want to do every
Yeah.
week, and making sure that because obviously a lot of these things are all related to your Great Vault.
yeah.
So you've got so these weekly events will count towards that bottom track
Yeah.
on the Great Vault. So if
Yeah,
you don't do
great.
a lot of raiding and you don't do a lot of dungeons, this is the way you're going to fill that lineup.
Very good. And does have you been doing any
big stretch.
Oh, big stretch. Oh, big stretch from the cow cat. Did you have you had a go at Prey yet?
Yes, I have. So there's an intro quest. At one point, you go and see this mysterious and slightly dodgy creature, in Stormwind, and I did one, and I'm like, okay, I'll come back to this once I'm leveled and I haven't got anything else to do. So you can once you've done the intro, so they've told you how to do it, you can do 8. Currently, you can do 8 Prey contracts a week. You have to pick up each contract one at a time.
Oh.
So currently you've got normal and hard mode available, and with season 1
it's gonna be
nightmare
difficult
level.
ones. Yeah.
So I don't know if that will then go up to 12 that you can do a week. I couldn't find that. So I saw a couple of posts this week about people who've worked out how to get it done in less than 6 minutes.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I was averaging about 12 minutes. So
Okay.
basically you have to go to, we'll go into this in more detail when we talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Prey,
yeah.
but you pick which zone you want to go and hunt somebody. And quite often they'll send you to an area, and basically sometimes they'll give you a quest to kill things, and sometimes they'll be like, go and loot treasures and kill some mobs and kill some elites, and you're supposed to be acting quite nonchalant while you're doing this, like not looking for anybody.
Right, okay.
And then your prey will come and ambush you, and they're like, haha. So you'll always be in the middle of doing something, and they'll be like, haha, I come to stab you, and you're like, oh fuck, I was in the middle of doing something. All right then. And then as you almost kill them, they'll go, oh no, and they'll sneak off. And they sneak off in a cloud of red smoke.
Oh.
And then what you do is you chase the cloud of red smoke, and you find them sort of hidden in the red smoke, and you ambush them, and they go, oh no, and then they vanish. And this happens a few times while you fill up a little crystal at the bottom of your bar. And when you've filled up the crystal enough, they'll be like, aha, we know where they're definitely at, and then you can go and definitely kill them at this place, and then you go
Right.
and definitely kill them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I thought it was quite fun. I quite like
Okay.
the fact you can make it as hard or as difficult as you want to. There's a couple of things that you do. There's one where you chase them, and they've got a big circle around them, and you have to keep up with them, and they drop things that you have to run through, and if they get too far ahead of you, it resets and you have to do it again, and that's a little bit frustrating.
Oh, yeah, that does
but
sound a
apart
bit
from
annoying.
apart from that, it was all right. There's housing decor as there is for everybody. I want to know more about this mysterious character that's got you doing these dodgy contracts. He's just a little bit slimy, but I'm a little bit
Oh.
curious about him.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think it'd be interesting once the full system is out. So once the nightmare mode is out, to see how hard the nightmare mode's going to be. But I think it's one of those things. If you don't do it, you're only going to miss out on some decor and some transmog and stuff. I don't think if you haven't got the time for it, I don't think it's going to be a huge loss to your general progression.
No.
Although, having said that, it is a place to get veteran gear at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So that is why a lot of people have been doing it, because obviously the lovely Drakthir who do the crests are like, oh, hello, have you got a piece of adventure gear? Excellent. Now, this is how you now upgrade adventure gear.
Yes,
we've
I've
stopped
got that
calling
quest.
the crests stupid things,
Yes.
and we now call them adventure crests. And you're like, thank fuck for that. And then once you've done the adventure quest one, they're like, oh, can you now go and get a piece of veteran gear? And I'm like, are they called veteran crests now? And they're like, yes, they are. And I'm like, great, well done, you listened. The best place to get veteran gear up until reset is actually doing prey.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people have been doing prey.
Okay, interesting. And I guess technically the Arcantina has different quests every week, but there's just a limited number of those quests, so they're not like weekly quests, they rotate.
They do, and you can get some housing decor, and
Yeah.
you get a little bit of a story between whoever it is sends you off. So Bill and Ted were there this week, and they were having a bit of a ning at each other about. I mean, I think those two probably need some relationship counselling.
Yeah. Doesn't everyone?
And there are things that you can loot, so you can put objects up in the Arcantina. So, yes, but there's no player power behind any of that.
No. It's just so nice to have. Right. Well, thank you very much for the rundown.
You're welcome. I'm quite tired now.
Oh.
Yes, so people are in fact praying for better gear. Yes,
Oh dear.
Salmis.
Oh dear. Sorry, Anne.
Okay, well, we regret Salmis's pun. Shall we hear from Salmis?
Yes, let's.
This is Salmis reporting in for this week's topic. What, no soup event? But I brought spiced biscuits. Despite the lack of a soup or theater event, I have just begun figuring out some of the events that open up after reaching level 90. I started rubbing elbows at Saltheril's soiree. Of course, I initially chose Murder Row. How could I not? I spent all 4 of my favor tokens with them and started working on gaining their favor in return. Part of that was using Latent Arcana to help charge up a runestone, then defending it in the subsequent attack. This was fun, and tends to draw at least a few others, so I was able to join in and help in the following scrum. After that, I headed to Harandar to learn of their ancient legends. Like the Den of Echoes, this is a scenario that leads through a story and rewards a weekly chest and a piece of decor. Then I went to Zulaman to try out this abundance thing. I've never felt more like a game show contestant for an audience of 1 in my time of World of Warcraft. I think I heard that Dundun, the Law of Abundance, is voiced by Darren DePaul. I think I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this. The structure reminds me of the World Soul Memory timed event from The War Within, but presented much better. I suspect I'll get tokens to enable the Gathering event, then instead of Valor Stones I'll get a currency, yes, another one, that I can use to purchase things. This might be a way I can use to get more herbs for alchemy, but I still have to try it out more. I think maybe this event might be best to plan ahead and join a raid group for. While checking out the different abundance locations, I enabled my first prey hunt. I love the voice acting for Astalor, and people are already asking if he is somehow connected to Daddy Denathrius. My first hunt was mostly a fun overlay while pursuing world quests. I noticed that others nearby were more than happy to help me fight my prey targets when they showed up. There was one uh-oh moment when I was helping to attack a rare mob, and my prey decided to ambush me, but it added spice to the fight, and I did survive. I have yet to wander into the Stormarian Assault to see what that's about, but maybe I'll learn about it here, with y'all. Salmis out.
Yeah, it sounds like that's the one we don't particularly recommend, but never mind.
Absolutely. Doesn't look like there's been official confirmation, but like basically the internet is like, yeah, that is Darren DePaul.
Exciting times. Exciting times.
I knew there was a reason I like Dundun so much. Oh, delicious. So yeah, tower defense. None of us are feeling the tower defense. It seems already. Well, neither Salmis or I are. Let's see what the rest of you think. Nadriel says the most notable new thing for me thus so far is the hunts. Adds a little bit extra when polishing off world quests and the like. I'm quite liking it.
Fair enough. Lutch says, well, I haven't hit 90 yet, 2 more levels to go. I am off today and for once I have 0 responsibilities. I've been grabbing all the side quests and find myself just wandering a zone like, holy shit, this is gorgeous. The other night I jumped into slow cart that rides around Silvermoon and just soaked it all in. Oh, I didn't know there was a cart in Silvermoon. I'm usually in a rush at all times.
Yeah, there's a cart that I've seen sitting underneath the bridge, you know where the Flight Master is?
Technically, yes. I can never find the Flight Master when I'm looking for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But under that bridge, there is a cart, and I looked at it, and I didn't realise you could ride in it. That's amazing.
Well, there you go. You can ride in it. I'm usually in a rush at all times and in WoW, but now that I'm in my crone phase, sitting in the cart that goes slower than walking speed is actually quite nice. I will be the one player you see in any cart anywhere from now on. Well, and we might be with you. No idea you could sit in that cart. That's exciting.
You weekly unlocked sitting in the cart. Excellent.
Yeah.
So Am says, despite hitting 90 earlier this week, I've yet to complete the main campaign, so hasn't unlocked the weekly events yet. As expected, I'm very much behind the curve. There is no rush, Ams. There's no rush.
High five, Ams. You're going to overtake me this week for reasons that we'll get to in a bit. Stilgar says, it seems they need to add an event to every zone, which I didn't feel really improves the quality necessarily. I like the abundance event, though it feels kind of forced and short, but it's a nice little event. The Stormarian Assault is probably my least favourite. I like the prey system, though it's not exactly what I'd hoped. I had a feeling it would be more of something that is always out there to get you, but it's a little predictable when you'll get ambushed. And with the negatives, you're kind of expected to do the hunt, get the hunt done sooner rather than later. All in all, there's a variety of things to keep me busy at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure the prey event sounds like it's quite living up to what it was sold, in that...
No.
I was sort of imagining it would be something that you could turn on and it would be... you wouldn't necessarily know that you were being hunted.
Like a war mode sort of thing.
Like a sort of extra difficulty layer rather than a you've taken a quest to go and hunt something down and it might turn up at any moment. It doesn't sound quite as spontaneous as I had hoped.
No, I think you're right. I think I'm holding off until we get nightmare mode, because maybe nightmare mode will then change that up. It's okay, there aren't actually hunts you take up. This just means that you're on high alert. So we're at this time in 2 weeks' time we will know. Anne says, I agree with Stilgar that maybe we don't need an event in every zone, but at least the events fit the zones thematically. The abundance event and the Stormarian assaults are meh. I'll do them, but they're not too exciting for me. Legends of the Hanari is great. I'll always take more stories from those people. I'm pretty sure I could be doing more important things than hosting a fancy party, but sure, let's have a soiree.
I do love that one of the events is so we've literally in the Stormarian Assault you're literally the Void is invading right now, so we should probably do something about it, or alternatively you could be in Eversong or organising a party. Okay,
yeah, indeed,
cool.
Everyone needs their downtime and we're having a party. I don't love that I need to find a group to fortify a runestone, but so far I've always managed to find one, so maybe I'm being overly critical about having to play with other people in an MMORPG.
Oh dear.
I didn't expect to like praise, but I'm vibing so hard with them. You can do them quickly if you want, but you don't have to rush it. It makes being in the zone and doing world quests a little bit more tense and challenging. Every time I get ambushed, I have a mini heart attack and frantically pop all my cooldowns to survive. It's an amazing adrenaline rush. However, I need to be in the right mood for it. I would absolutely hate it when I just want to do some world quests and be done with it, so I think they did the right thing when they made it optional. Thank you, Manny. Manny's in our chat and says, no, sorry, Nightmare Mode is more of the same, but more affixes and they hit harder. So... it sounds like Anne's a fan of sort of knowing when it might happen without actually knowing when it might happen.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it needs to be an opt-in thing, but I mean, I haven't tried it yet, so maybe I'll I'll give it a go when I get that far, which is anyway, we'll get to that. next up is Manny's other submission. This week allowed me to slow down a bit as I prepare for Season 1. I have basically forsaken pugging. I ran Mythic Zeros with friends and we had a great laugh, and I was shown the ropes on a new character with a rotation I had barely studied who was also, we had only freshly hit 90. A big thank you to friends because I'm feeling a lot more confident on the other end. Prey has been a solo affair. The trap farm cheese that was reported in alpha testing means it would likely take longer to form a group than actually do the hunt. Never have I met such an untrustworthy individual as Astalor. I will say this fully aware that Xalatath is the villain of the expansion. Yet I will toil in anguish a while longer because delves remain locked to tier 7 or lower for one more week. I was tempted to farm up curios on my rogue companion, but those will come over in the course of the season. In between the frenetic search for more gear, I've wanted to work on professions. Alas, the exploiters have utterly destroyed the early expansion economy. Yeah. Even if bans go out sometime soon, I have no idea when they will how they will remedy the impact. I resigned myself to picking up some materials and waiting to see if anything comes of it. I love that people are taking this time and moving at their own pace at the beginning of the expansion. Midnight really has so much to offer so many different players. I wish I had another me to help do all the things I want to do. Maybe I will visit my home again someday soon with all this decor they are throwing at me. Yes, in fact, I think in Harrendar, which is where I've been questing this week, I think the Haranir have a lot of spare furniture. Almost
So
like
much furniture.
everything has had fucking furniture given to me. Orwenna, she's the queen of fucking furniture. Like, where are you keeping all of this stuff, lady? Like, oh my god.
I think, you know what it is? I think that she moved out of her home, didn't want to pay for storage, and she's now just giving it all
she's
away.
just giving it all away. Yeah, here you go. Quest reward. Have this thing that was in my living room for 12 years, and I've no idea who gave it to me or where it came from, but it's weird and I don't like it. Here you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, as Sai says, they've got lots of trees and mushrooms to make stuff out of.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Pastor Matt says, haven't had much time for endgame stuff yet. Looking forward to bountiful delves and fully opened prey system.
Arrowith says, looking forward to hearing what everybody is doing at 90 so I can make a list. I won't start endgame solo content until I'm done with the main campaign and all the side storylines, so probably a couple more weeks. Yeah, that's the sort of level I'm going at, Arrowith.
Vermilion says, once I hit 90, I started to actually admire the zones more and look at all the small Easter eggs.
Aww.
I'm a really big lore nerd, so running Runner Spy is also amazing. Basically just a lot of sightseeing and finding all the decor possible.
Oh, well, there's a lot of
That in
decor to be
itself
found.
is like a
yes.
huge thing. Yeah, it's a huge thing to be doing now that you're at 90, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Servation says, there's a range of weekly events available. The soiree was giving me flashbacks to the Ember Court in Shadowlands until I did it. It's much simpler than that and doesn't have a timer. It's just a series of weekly quests.
That's true.
One main quest for the full rewards and some others give it rep for the individual factions. It's simple and fun. The Haranir have their Lost Legends, which you can only do once per week on your account. It has some nice lore events where you interact with their paintings. In the Void, we defend against a Void attack once every half hour, and you can repeat it lots. Bit laggy, it's effectively a tower defense game. I'm only doing this one because I need to. The last one, the Abundant Offerings, is probably the most problematic. Doing it solo is painful, it's hard to get any real score, which means you don't get much of the unalloyed abundance currency. Doing it in a raid group results in a bad case of lag, for those in the harvest and for everyone else in the zone. However, it's the only real way to guarantee getting the maximum amount of the currency, which you need if you do professions. The epic profession tools all require 20 times fused vitality to make, each of which costs 800 unalloyed abundance. Okay, this explains. I went and looked up the professions tools on the auction house, and I was looking. I was like, I don't actually really need to be dropping 100,000 gold on this. Thank you very much. But I understand why now. Simon says, if you want to make all of the epic profession tools, which people will, you'll need 96k of unalloyed abundance. If you max out a harvest, you end up with 900. If you don't, which is the case if you're solo, then you only get 300. Which means, and you can only do the event for currency 8 times a week, which means 14 weeks if you do it in raid, or 40 weeks if you do it
Oh my God.
solo. Oh my god, which is just crazy. They really need to address this, as the raid groups for the Harvest are causing major lag in the zones they're active in. In terms of fun, the Haranir one is enjoyable as it's different for each artifact you chase, and there are 7 of them. The Soiree is kind of nice, but it's not really an event as such. The others, to be honest, I'm only doing them because they provide gear.
Wow. I hadn't realised the figures for the abundance and the professions tools. I also looked at the auction house, and I vaguely looked at like the blue professions tools, and I was looking at the price, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit steep. Like, I also now understand why that.
Yeah.
The green profession tools are going to be fine. They're
Yeah.
going to be fine. I don't
Yeah.
need the other ones.
Yeah, I buy it in the end because I was like, I should go and look at them up. But yeah, the blue ones are also BOE this time round, so that's fine. Stilgar says they changed abundance and raids now. Seems like the raids are phased from each other.
Oh, okay. That would be a good idea if they have done that.
Yeah, maybe if they have done that, that would be good. But yeah, okay, so it seems like there's quite a lot of things to do, but you can do it all in one night. And so it's not as bad as it sounds. That's our TLDR for weekly events. It's not as bad as it sounds.
Which is, but I think that's great. So if you're somebody who likes to, raid and Mythic Plus, but you also want to get all your renown tracks up, absolutely you can do that.
Good.
If you're somebody who doesn't raid or dungeon, then you can just spread these out and do them as you fancy. Like, it feels like however much content you want to do, you can fit this in without it being too onerous.
Yeah. Good. Well, I hope you are enjoying the show. Perhaps you could give us a like or post a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. We're hoping to try and grow our audience a bit this year, so we'd love for you to help us reach out to some new people. We'd also love for you to join our Discord channel. We've had loads of new friends over the last week or so joining from the Ambassadors program from the Portal Room. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You can join our Discord over at bit.ly/ggw-discord. You can also watch our show live on Sundays at 8 PM London or midday Pacific at twitch.tv/silkyraven. Yeah, we are also on YouTube. The YouTube bit's at the end. I try to make this the middle bit a little bit concise. Different bits in different parts of the show. Thanks very much for the sub.
Okay, well, it's time for everybody to, I was going to say sit back and relax, but we can't always relax because it really depends on what the contents is of the Cassunda Chronicles this week.
The Cassunda Chronicles, The Get-Together, Part 2. Greetings and salutations, my friends, 'tis I, Cassunda. Thankfully, with Greta's very quick interception, not that she knows she did that, of course, I managed to get away from what had the makings of being a rather scary encounter. And I quickly made my way down to the cellars. This is where I'm meeting our brethren from the Horde. We have a small portal system set up here with regards to magic. Uncle Bernie and what is his name? Grandel. Yes, that is the name of the fellow. Troll Mage. They've set up a portal system between the two areas, so that they can come and go and talk to us. Sorry, I'm still a bit flustered by what I saw upstairs. That's worrying me. Yes, sorry. They are keeping an eye on the Horde side for shadow and cloak activities. Not that we're expecting to see much. It is highly unlikely that a group of humans that believe that humans are supposed to be the ones in control are going to be making any real effort in Horde territories, or Kalimdor in general, to be honest. There's not many human major settlements over on that continent. There's a few outlying areas, but most of them openly have dealings with non-humans. I mean, they're surrounded by them. They're having to be respectful of the traditions, but they're doing their best to keep an eye out. As I said, Banian is here. Green Oak has turned up, though he is in his more cat form. It's not the largest room in the world. We have talked about, because of the threat to the children, maybe a camping trip of sorts over to Kalimdor. Obviously, we have Horde orphanages there, and some of the children have come over here to visit us. So what better way to repay that, to have our children go over there, large camp out, organised by the Druids. Green Oak obviously is in dealings with Night Elf Druids and Worgen, as well as Taurens, and maybe a large children get-together. Children from all the different orphanages all get together, a large jamboree of sorts for the children. They all get to know each other and have fun in the wilderness and hopefully be out of target range for whoever that was that left that note. Also present are a couple of other figures I don't know. Both metal clad. One very tall and slim. The other, well, almost gnome-sized. Their armour's quite dark. There's a slight chill in the air around them. Banian introduced them. The taller fellow is called Tyrillith. This is a name I've heard. I haven't met him before, but he is what are colloquially called Death Knights. Dead warriors targeted by Arthas when he was Lich King to create an army, who then rebelled against him and actually joined the forces of the Light in the assault on Icecrown Citadel. I was there, not on the actual assault itself, but I was part of the ground forces dealing with the Icecrown area. And I had seen a few of them in operation. Well, if you'd excuse the comment about the air chilling around them, they do chill me to the bone. I feel quite uncomfortable around them. And it was Tyrillith that introduced the smaller figure, a gnome warrior by the name of Spranic. He had also been converted. He had been there for some time, along with Arthas's early experiments. Interesting fellows, but I'm not sure about them. As we had time, though, to help break the ice, sorry about the cold punnage, I don't know where I'm doing it, nerves, I think. Tyrillith is going to tell us about an incident recently in Icecrown. It's not cloak activity, but it shows you that our forces will be dealing with more than just these people. There are others to deal with. You see, they had trouble with a necromancer in Icecrown. And this is actually how him and Spranac became battle comrades. So, I'll paraphrase what he tells me. So, until then, my friends, I'll be seeing you.
Oh, interesting times.
Oh my goodness. What's going on? It's more mysterious every time we hear from Cassunda, but I'm enjoying it. And I'm enjoying the fact that nobody was in harm's way this week.
Yeah, nobody was injured this week. That's always very nice.
Raven, how's your week in gaming been? I feel like I've seen you online quite a lot this week. It's been lovely.
Well, less than I had hoped, if I'm being honest. I didn't get in at all on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. No, I did get in a bit on Wednesday. I did get in a bit on Friday. On Thursday, I didn't get in on Friday. I didn't finish work till 8:30 on Friday.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's super annoying. I've got a list of things I need to do before I go on this trip, and I just haven't finished them. It's just yeah. Oh. Never mind. So yeah, I am about where I was expecting to be though. So this week I've finished off the Sojourner quests I had outstanding in Zulaman. So in Eversong and Zulaman, I finished the main story quest. I finished the Sojourner quests. I've done the explore quest, I've done the glyphs, I've done most of the I think I've done the treasures, the standard treasures.
Right.
But I've not done all of the rares, and there's various other bits and pieces. There's obviously other things that you can't do until you hit, until you get to the end. But yeah, so I've sort of done all the main things in those 2 zones. Most of this week I've been in Harrendar. I have, as of about 20 minutes before we started recording, I have finished the main quests in Harrendar. I've done about 2/3 of the Sojourner quests, so I need to go back and finish. There's a whole bunch of exclamation points have popped up. I've stuffed a lot of moths in a bag, but only.
I saw you. I saw you took on the grudge pit earlier.
Oh, yeah. So I've done both the delves.
Right.
So the memory delve and the grudge pit. And I've also done the blinding, whatever, the dungeon on follower mode.
Yes.
There must be a second dungeon.
Yes, I have to say, we're too early in the expansion for me to have put all the names of all the dungeons in my brain yet.
We'll talk about dungeons at some point later on, but the blinding one that I did today is the one you kind of have to do at the end of, well, you don't have to, but it's kind of the end of the campaign. That felt like quite a nice dungeon. It had like the right amount of trash in it. Almost everything else I've done so far has felt very full of trash. There was quite a lot of trash at the beginning, and then there was like kill a boss, cross over a bridge, kill another boss. Like it felt a bit more like a reasonable amount of trash. So that was nice. I did do the grudge pit. I don't think this is going to be my favourite delve. I quite enjoyed the quest line, and no spoilers in case anybody hasn't done it.
Yes.
But I enjoyed the quest line.
Yes.
But the grudge pit itself just felt like it went on for ages. It just felt like it took a really long time.
Yeah, I suspect that is. I
It's just
suspect it
'cause you're
doesn't
in the
take any
same-
longer, but it's because
If
you're
in the same room. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've not been to the grudge pit yet, it's basically
It's a fighting pit. It's a fighting pit. There's a fighting pit in
so
every
all the mobs
expansion.
come to you rather than you having to find all the mobs in a delve.
But there's also this something about, because you have to, the one that I had, it was like, put this disguise on, and so I put this disguise on, and it did something to my UI, so I then couldn't see how much astral power I had. I could only see my health bar and my mana bar. And balanced druids don't give a shit about how much mana they've got. I'd much rather know how much astral power I had. But yeah, I couldn't see. For the whole time I was in it, I couldn't see how much astral power I had. So that was kind of annoying. And not the greatest way to play a balanced druid, if we're being honest. So, yeah, I just found it a bit annoying because you're just constantly digging up the same type of mob and doing the same thing. But that was fine. I've been trying to go and find the chests in delves, like the first couple of times I go into them, because this is when I'm doing them on low levels. So I've been trying to make sure I find the chests. And I've been reasonably successful with that. I enjoyed the main story quest with the Haranir. I thought that was good. They do, however, need to redesign the den because it's terrible. And I spent 20 fucking minutes trying to find the flight master. It had been bugging me on my map that I had like undiscovered flight point. And then in part of the quest, you have to go and talk to the fucking flight master. And I was like, I would talk to the flight master. I could fucking find the asshole. And literally in the end, I had to go, like I went to Wowhead for this quest. And the first comment is the flight master is in a cave underneath the thing. And I was like, right, obviously, because I kept looking for the flight master on the top, because they're the flight master.
Well, of course you would. Of course you would. Yes.
No.
And it's just a weird, that whole space is just a weird unused space. Like it's got portal. Like only today I realised that next to the portal that they create to go back to Silvermoon, on the right hand side there's a portal there to get you to Voidstorm.
Yeah. Well, there isn't for me at the moment, but yeah.
There,
but there will
is
be.
Eventually a portal will open
yeah.
up, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was here.
Yeah.
But then there's like huge amounts of that whole space. I mean, I presume it's supposed to be like a huge temple space for everyone to gather in when the big council are having a thing. But it feels
really
like
weird.
A big waste of space.
The rest of
with a couple of vendors
hidden
away in little alcoves, and you're like, what? Yes, Anne. There is a portal to Voidstorm. I presume it's when you've unlocked everything, but if you're in the den and you're taking the portal to get back to Silvermoon, on the right hand side, today I was like, oh, there's a portal to Voidstorm. How long's that been there?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the zone, beautiful. Like really, really, really beautiful. Herbed a lot. Scrunched up a lot of moths. Opened a lot of chests. The only 2 chests I've got to do now are strange ones that you need to do strange things for.
Yes, I know the chests you mean.
One of them you have to collect a lot of things, and the things don't seem to drop very much, so that's exciting. So that's going to be annoying. The other one, my little handy notes add-on has some really perplexing instructions for, so I need to go and sort that out at some point, but I'm not going to do it yet. So yeah, I've just been wandering around Harrendar and making... I did it all in... I managed to sort of... I don't know, I didn't do it all in a very good order, but I did... I got distracted, like, picking up moths, and then I ended up doing all of the, like, sojourner quests in a really weird order. So every time I was sent somewhere with a, like, you should go and help the people out over here, basically on these little linking quests, when I arrived, whoever it was like, so good to see you, friend. We love a, like, helpful outsider, and then nothing happened because I've done all the quests there already because I was through there, like, several hours ago. So I just did everything in a bit of a funny order. But there we go, never mind. I enjoyed making a community meal. I enjoyed helping somebody to become a hunter. I've killed a lot of things. I've been killed quite a lot. I am very squishy at the moment.
Oh gosh, really?
Very squishy at the moment, which is unusual for me. So I'm finding that a little bit frustrating. But this zone doesn't have any of the wild herbs in. They're all primal herbs. So that's
bloody herbs.
That's been nice.
I hate those things.
Yeah, the wild herbs are really bad, and just so many people are just so many druids, it has to be, are flying in, herbing, and then leaving you on the ground, because I always stop to kill mine with their ads as well as yours, which is very frustrating. So yeah, other people giving druidry a bad name, but yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. There's been some lovely little side quests, and it's just a really, really beautiful zone, and I'm just generally having a nice time. I've been keeping my alchemy up. My herbing's about 85 now, so that's good. Yeah, just been doing those kinds of things, really. I don't think I've done anything else, but now I'm about to get extremely behind in that I am now not going to be able, because I'm going out tomorrow and then I'm going to Manchester on Tuesday and I'm not back until Sunday 10 p.m. So I'm not going to get into game now until a week on Monday. And I might be too tired when we get to a week on Monday. So the earliest I can get back into game now is a week on Monday. I've got the quest to go to Voidstorm, but actually I do want to finish up these Sojourner bits first. So by the time we get to the Thursday where I have said we're going to try and do some EU raiding, I'm not going to be raid ready. So I just want to, I do want to do some group content that evening. And obviously, technically, people can walk into a normal raid wearing whatever the fuck they like.
Yes.
It's not a very sensible idea, and I'm not going to even
No.
be. So the minimum eye level for LFR is 220, and I've got
thank you.
I've got a selection of 220, but my eye level at the moment is 200.
Okay.
And it's unlikely to get much better before that Thursday. So I'm going to put an event up to do some group stuff that Thursday. But it might be that it might be that we can have a ceremonial. Let's walk into one of the normal raids and get punched in the face really hard. Just. You know,
or we could go to some heroic dungeons and get
or we could go do some
Yeah.
dungeons. We could do some dungeons or do some delves. At the moment, I'm still locked to level 3 delves, which is also a little bit frustrating because you don't get the lock to that lock from level 3, level 4 to level 7 doesn't get released, I think, until you finish the main story quests, until you've opened up world quests. So because I haven't got to the end of the main story quest, I've not got world quest. I've not got any way of fixing my gear. But I would like to do some group content. So we'll all get everybody on the EU together to do some group content. And then on the week of the 30th of March, I do have a week off. So I'm hoping that by that Thursday, I will have got myself properly leveled. So, yes, apologies in advance, but there will be some kind of group stuff coming. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think the story is good. I think the Harindar story is very good. I think I enjoyed Zulaman more than I was expecting to, but I think I enjoyed Harindar a bit better. Not least because the herbing was less dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about yourself? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I've had a busy old week. So I have, just before we started the show, I have dinged my 5th character to 90.
Congrats.
Thank you. One of those is my NA character, which means I actually have to ding another one to get the final achievement. So I have... Oh, my hair's gone weird. Hold on. There we go. So usually it's my mage that I find particularly squishy.
Yeah, your mages
in this, like, early stage,
are
leveling
often
up stage.
Tissue paper mages, usually.
Yeah, and I've leveled 2, and neither of them... One of them was my main mage, and the other one's my side mage. So one of them was geared a bit better initially than the other one, but actually neither of them were particularly squishy. My shadow priest, however, who I've just dinged, oh my goodness! Literally after every pull, I'm down to about half health. I don't think I've ever used Desperate Prayer as much as I have. In the last couple of days, like shadow priests are just power shield seems to cover you for virtually nothing now. They seem to have changed all sorts of things that seem to sort of heal me and that don't seem to heal me anymore. I get the impression from some reading I've done that generally people are feeling a bit unhappy about shadow priests right now, so I don't think it's me.
Oh dear.
But it's a shame because obviously shadow priests didn't have a lot of love for a long time, and it was a lot of fun playing her in The War Within, and I'm hoping this is just a temporary glitch, and once she gets a bit more geared up it'll be better. But yeah, that felt a little bit unwarranted. I've done I did the events, which are fine. I've unlocked delves as far as I can, until they up the limit, and those seem to be good. I quite enjoy. I think now I haven't installed any of the add-ons, but I feel like Valera is yelling less than she was.
Yes, I thought she was a bit less shouty this week than she had been previously.
Yeah. She propositioned me far less often, which I thought was very good.
And she stopped saying she has. I'm pretty certain that she's calmed down, particularly on the sort of "my plane is your pleasure" line. She was shouting, "My eyes are on you" quite a lot this week.
Yes. Yes.
Which is still a little bit creepy, but But less creepy.
Less so. Less.
Yeah.
More like, oh, I'm just making sure if there's any danger. That's the approach.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one,
It has a
fine.
slightly different vibe, which is good. So yeah, slightly. Yes. I think she was slightly. I did notice when I was not in the grudge pit, because I just found the grudge pit to be incredibly tedious and annoying. But in the other one, the memory fragmenty one, yes. I did about halfway round. I was like, oh, I think I've heard a lot less from. I've heard a lot less from Valeria, and then I couldn't find her. And then I opened up her pane, and it brought me Bran's information, and I was like, oh, maybe she's fucked off. Like, yeah.
Maybe,
okay.
Yeah.
She's just
like,
gone.
oh yeah, I need to take a break. Bran, can you take over for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I've had a load of UI bugs this week. So I had that UI bug in the grudge pit. I've had a load of disappearing textures. I landed in Silvermoon earlier and there was no floor. I just literally landed and there was a big like expanse of like void underneath me, which was a bit alarming. And yeah, I've had a lot of like I keep opening. I assume it's got to be an add-on conflict somewhere. I keep having my tooltips keep. Like I mouse over something and it gives me a tooltip and then the tooltip doesn't go away and just sits in the middle of my screen. And
I've had that a little, yes.
Which is like, okay, but I need you to leave now because I can't. No, okay, so I keep having to do reload UI. Ams, thanks for the subs. Sometimes if I open my there's just I've just had a lot of like weird UI bugs, and quite often when I try to get into Valera's panel, it gives me Bran's, and I'm like, no, thank you, but no, and then it won't give me Valera's information. It's just like, why don't you take Bran? Well, you wanted Bran. You said she was too annoying. I did, and I do think she's still annoying, but yeah. Oh yes, you're right, Magic Kira. She has shouted "Don't stand in that" a lot more this week, and yes, she also did shout "You have to dodge" after she'd made something hit me in the face, and I was like,
"Right,
thanks." That was targeted on you, and you then came and stood next to me. So thanks very much. That was really helpful.
Next, let me tell you about webs and where to stand in them. Shut up.
Yes.
So yeah, I sort of like I am very pleased that my characters and my account is now at the point where I feel like I've done the busy work that you have to do at the start of an expansion. So I feel like actually I can now do this is going to sound wrong, but I can now do stuff I want to do. I mean, I do enjoy questing and leveling, but you have to like, if you play more than one character, you have to get those characters that you like to play regularly. You have to get them up and ready to go. I have houses. I have been collecting so much decor for houses. I haven't seen my house in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I did also go and I did remember, it kept popping me up this message that was like, you need to go to your community chest. There's stuff in your community chest. You need to go to your community chest. So I did actually go to my house and go to the community chest. And also have a look to see if I could find any settings for the community. There are no settings for the charter community.
No, it just keeps it's very persistent, and you're like, I'm sure I've been to the chest. I'll go and look at it again. So yes, I now feel like that perhaps I can go to one of my houses that isn't well decorated, and actually look at all of the new stuff that, especially the Haranir, have been giving me, and I can be like, oh, okay, I can put some new housing stuff together, and start looking at things that like, okay, where are new things dropping, or like things like, actually, if I want to make what I can of the new housing decor, and if I want people to make it for me, how much lumber do I need to go and farm, and things like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. It was very, very pleasing. So Wednesday night, I took my warlock out, who's definitely going to be my sort of main character going forward. And I purposely went and did all the world events because I knew we were recording this today, but also I was just like, okay, how much of the week does that take up? And I was just so pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, actually, so then the rest of the week, like, yes, I can go and do some dungeons, or I can do some delves, or, you know, there's loads of, like, opportunity for doing things, and it just made me very pleased all week, really. I will at some point want to level a Harronair, because obviously we unlock that with the finishing the campaign, and I feel like probably 99% of people, I feel duty bound to roll a druid, and I'm going to roll a feral druid to see if the changes to feral have made it more me compatible. So I might, if I do nothing else, I might spend the time on the character creation screen, which will be less about the character creation and more about how long will it take for me to pick a name that hasn't already taken.
Yes.
Because as some people might not remember, in the EU we cannot randomize a name. They took that out because
because it's not possible.
Languages in
it's not
the
possible
EU.
to get the randomizer not to give you rude words in one language or another.
Yes. So whereas on the NA you can make it randomize you a name that will work. Literally the worst it's been, one time it took me literally half an hour until a name that I thought of for a character came up as acceptable. And by that point, I'm just typing in any word. You know, by that point, you're just like, I don't know, what have I got in front of me? Like, I believe this is how somebody we know ended up with a character called Car Wash, because they just they were like,
yes.
Just like any word that popped into their brain.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I get really surprised by something that seems very, very obvious and common, and I'll type it in like going ha ha, and they're like yes, and I'm like, oh, I can have that. Oh, okay, all right.
Yes, I always enjoy your like weird spellings of like herbs, like
yep,
like lavender with a Y in the middle of it, and
lavender with a Y. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've spelt so actually my horde mage is my horde mage is called monk's hood, which is a type of herb which wasn't taken, and I was quite surprised that wasn't taken. Peonies, I managed to get the name, and I was like, oh, okay. I happened to be looking at a peony, and I'm like, peonies gone, peonies. Oh, right, great, I'll have that. Lovely, thank you. But yeah, so that can't be the most difficult thing about character creation in the EU is trying to find a name that the game will let you have.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's my plan. Obviously, season 1 is dropping this week, so hopefully I can start pushing some delves up a little bit further, which will be fun. Yes, that is why, C. Lily. Yes, it's because we speak a multitude, well, I don't, but we collectively as Europeans speak many languages, and the randomizer couldn't cope because it kept on suggesting rude words in different languages.
Well, I mean, I feel the randomizer's pain. We have a German subsidiary, and my auditor asked me for some information, like for a trial balance for the German subsidiary on Friday. So I had to log into the German accounting system, which I am not currently particularly familiar with, and which doesn't it doesn't really speak. It doesn't have it has a English setting, but it doesn't English like everything, and so I had terrible trouble on Friday, basically, trying to translate the accounting system until I got what I wanted, and then I had to run it through a different translator because it produced a picture for me on the screen of the information I wanted with English subheadings, and when I said, great, could you PDF that, it PDF'd it in German, and I was like, oh, my auditor doesn't speak German. So, but because I have this German subsidiary, I have access to a paid for, a specific translation program, which managed to solve the problem for me. But it was just like, oh god, accounting's even harder. Even harder if you have
Imagine
to
your
do it.
eyes as like this comes through and you're like, no, that's not going to work.
Not gonna be quite what I'm looking for, but thanks very much. Oh, wow, okay. I mean, the Siege of Orgrimmar was a terrible raid. So Anne says there's a boss in Siege of Orgrimmar whose name is the C word in their language. They are over in the eastern edges of Europe. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they should. Oh well, there we go. You would think, like, if you were naming things for something that is going live, you would just like stick it through Google and just check.
I mean, I guess you don't. I guess you're gonna check. You're gonna check English. You're gonna check French. You're gonna check Spanish. You're gonna check German. You're gonna check Italian. I can't remember what other regionalization options, but there's basically no. Like, I don't think there's Greek, for example. I don't think there's any of the kind of Eastern, like Romanian or Czech, or there's Russian.
There is,
but I don't know what of the, like, there's a lot of languages spoken in Europe, and I sort of understand that they can't do all of them, but also,
yeah,
that is bad. Right.
Well, let's round
On
up
that
the
note,
show by finding out what the rest of you have been doing this week, starting as ever with the very lovely Salmas.
Hello, Raven and EJ. This is Salmus, the alchemical rogue, reporting in for my week in WoW. Friends and families toured the maps to fill out our Explorer achievements. Then steady flying just became available either way, so yay! Rexual Healing had to see if the Dark Lady would watch over us on a gallivant through Windrunner Spire. Instead, we were escorted by the ghost of Lirath, the Windrunner sister's musically talented brother. The mechanics were fun and learnable, though mostly unpunishing and heroic. I'm still looking for ways to get herbs to help level up my alchemy. At the moment, they seem a bit few and far between. And I do have to admit that it feels kind of strange to be a night elf in Eversong and not be attacked by guards or adventurers. I remember the BC starting quest as a blood elf, taking down the night elf infiltrators. They never stealthed very well and got killed all the time. Now here I am, running around. Don't mind me, just picking flowers. Thank you all. Salmus out.
Harrendar. The flowers are all in Harrendar. Go to Harrendar.
Yes. Yeah. I saw a great little short earlier of Lovely Bear from Bear's Adventures, who had accidentally landed on the Horde side of Silvermoon City,
no.
and was just furiously running, and of course they're all aggroing on her, and she's like, no, sorry, I'm a friend, I'm just coming through, and I could see her, she was running in the right direction, and she suddenly took a left turn upstairs, and I'm like, no, up the stairs, and she's like, oh, I think I've gone the wrong way, death, because literally everything had swarmed on her, and I was like, oh no. But Bear's Adventures has started putting up some shorts on
nice.
YouTube and other places, and it made me giggle, because I've sort of thought about that snotty guard. I've thought about just going, just see what happens, and I haven't been brave enough, but Bear has done it for us.
Yeah, they're a bit hardcore.
Yeah,
I went 3 feet in there the other day accidentally because I got lost, and I was like, oh, okay, no, back away slowly. Oh no, back away quite quickly. Okay, fine. I'm backing away.
I mean, they do give you a warning. Like, it's like, get out of here. Like, get out. There is a big...
Yeah, I had my
at least
map
it's not
open.
Instant kill.
No, it's not instant kill, but yeah, I had my map open. I wasn't really paying attention. I was suddenly like, why is there aggro? Why am I getting that aggro flash at the edge of my screen? Like, oh shit. Because I've just like wandered in, and I'm like standing there with my map out, like, where the fuck am I? It's like standing in the fucking shades of Ankh-Morpork. Like holding a bag of gold coins with your map open, like yeah.
Nadriel says I still get snotty messages from citizens about being a warlock.
I do think that's quite cute.
Like, my shadow, because I play a void elf shadow priest just to like max up how much void I can contain in one being, and the guards in Silvermoon are particularly snotty every time I walk past them, and I love that, and I love that the type of snotty they are changes depending on like what race and what class you are. I love the fact that all that's been
they've done a good job of that this time around.
Oh, and another thing, if you play a void elf, when you start doing the void storm stuff, Umbric, it was really sweet. There was this bit where you have to, there's a point, in fact, before you go to void storm, where you meet him outside Majesty's Terrace, and you have to go
that's
into
my
Majesty's Terrace.
That's my next thing. I've just picked that quest up. I haven't done it yet.
Oh, well, and you can do it as a follower. I have to say, there's so much trash in there. I do that as a pug now because it just goes on forever otherwise. But if when you meet him outside Majesty's Terrace, there's the like, queue me up for the quest, please, Umbric. There's a sort of another line, and then there's a bottom option. And if you're not a void elf, it'll be like, tell me more about the void elves and stuff. So he'll give you a little potted history. And if you're a void elf, I can't remember what it says, but basically you just have the most beautiful interaction with him. And he says, you've been very brave and very like to move this path, and we're walking this path together, and I'm just really happy that you're here and we're doing this. And he finishes it off with a thank you. And I read this earlier, and I tried to read it out to Symes and I started blubbing. It was just... And there have been in this so far, there's been so many little interactions that you have, depending on what you're playing, with different characters. And there have been little acknowledgements like that. And there have been little acknowledgements about the fact that, in fact, there's been a lot of acknowledgements about the fact that people go through hard times for various different reasons, but that you come out stronger and that we're pleased that you're here. And I just love all of the intention behind all of this. I think it's just been, I found it very, very special in the last couple of weeks. So I don't cry, let's talk about what the rest of you have been doing in WoW. So Marie has been in WoW this week. She's also been digitising her level 13 D&D Druid character sheet on LibreOffice Draw.
Nadriel has been working through all the side quest content in Midnight after finishing the story a week ago.
Am's cleared everything in Zulaman and then went back and completed the max level stuff in Eversong. He's now chugging his way through Harrendar's Sojourner.
Stilgar has been pootling around in Midnight. He's managed to get into the Aberrus raid, finish off his mythic tier set and get the achievement. He's also slowly levelling his shaman for some skinning and doing all of the quests he missed on his main.
It's a good way of levelling. Anne had enough time to play properly and dinged 90. They did the weekly events, World Quest for Gear and all the praise, worked their way up to level 6 Delves and finished the Sojourner of Eversong Woods. Phew! Now it's time to spend more time on other hobbies.
I know that feeling. Pastor Matt's girlfriend was in hospital until Thursday. Oh no, but she's doing well, so he's had less time gaming this week. He did hit 90 on his Demon Hunter, did a Prey and a couple of World Quests, and has just dinged on his Warlock called Spaghetti. They're dealing with a late season blizzard in Wisconsin. Oh no. Oh no. The weather is very confused at the moment.
Much weather happening in places. And keep warm and keep warm. Yes, good plan, EJ. Yes. Although Spaghetti, love that.
That's
that made
very
me giggle
good.
when I was typing that earlier.
That is very good. Yes.
Arrowith hopes to get more gaming time this weekend. She's almost 87 and into her second zone visiting the trolls. She's doing all the campaign quests and all the side quests, and oh, those dang Murlocs found us again. Ha ha.
Oh, I enjoyed the Murloc stuff. I really enjoyed the Murloc stuff. I enjoyed the Murlocs in Zulaman were a lot of fun. And finally, our Fixie owner did everything on their Evoker, so is now mainly AFKing in the Arcantina. They love that place more than their home. They also love the redoing of Silvermoon, and the Zone as well have started levelling their Druid, who is already 85. Wow.
The Arcantina is great. I mean, I'm still mad at Khadgar. Look, this is like the earliest point we've got to see it. No wonder he's lurking in that back room. He's like, oh my god, all these people in my Arcantina. Goodness me. Well, that's our show for this week. If you want to get in touch with us, the best place to do that is over at Discord at bit.ly/GDW-Discord. We would love it if you drop us a follow over on Blue Sky at GDW Show or subscribe on YouTube at GDW Show. Remember, if you've enjoyed the show, drop a like, follow, or a little review on your platform of choice to help other people find us too.
No show next week, as I will be probably somewhere around Watford Junction, I would reckon, by the time the show starts. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll be talking about the Arator campaign story and the complicated relationship between father and son. Can we push Terralion off a very long drop? Maybe that might work. That might help.
I mean, I think he might be pushing himself off at this rate. Bless him. Well, look after yourself. We will see you in 2 weeks. Come find us on Discord.
Find us on Discord. Bye.